This presentation is made possible by these amazing individuals and organizations. Whether it was through Patreon, Super Chats, Super Stickers, or by watching, liking, and commenting, I really appreciate each and every one of you. Hello, good morning, everybody. Welcome to the show. I hope you guys can hear me. Please let me know if you can in the chat. This is going to be a lot of fun. So excited for this morning. By the way, for all the newcomers, I am Retro Nerd Girl, and I'm broadcasting live from the International Science Fiction Space Station. And I usually do a lot of retro content, but today is of course, my day for doing a modern take on things. I like to call it my modern take mornings. So let's get to it. We got a lot of interesting things I'd like to talk about today, but the first thing on the plate is probably what was on the thumbnail, which is Loki season 2, episode 3. I'm really enjoying this show. So I can't wait to talk to you about this episode. Let's see. Oh yes, Keith E says that he can hear me. So that's wonderful. Great, great, great. Yes, thank you so much. Wonderful. Um, and let's see what is happening in the chat. We've got Unicorn Rampant Studio. Hello, hello, hello. Good morning. Says, good morning, RNG and Retro Lovians. What's a great what's a great Pittsburgh day? Cool and crisp and warm and overcast at the same time. Oh, it sounds nice. Sounds real nice. I haven't gone out yet today, but seems like we may be in the on the colder side where I'm at right now. About 40 degrees. Yikes. Got the coat and the gloves and the scarves and everything. At least last night it felt like it was colder. So we're going to be in the low 40s to like 30s this week. And Keith E is in the house. Hello, hello, hello. Good morning, Unicorn and other people here in the chat. Looks like my moderators are here, here, here. This is awesome. Of course, this is me letting you guys know that I am on the way. William Blake Hall is here. Hello, William Blake Hall. Great to see you. Saying hi to everyone and says, so today I do get to hang out until maybe noon. I hope I can hear some stats or inside news. Probably most likely. Hopefully I won't go past noon your time. So I'm not sure if that's that will be in about an hour. Hopefully it won't take too long to talk about Loki. William Blake Hall says, yes, a good day in Pittsburgh. Oh, wonderful. Keith E says, I had a Loki figure delivered from Amazon, but is the show we're watching a cartoon or real people? It's real. It's live action. So yeah, it's definitely live action. Some of the things may be a little cartoonish. There is a cartoon in the story. Miss Minutes. She is definitely a cartoon, but it somehow it works in the story. It makes sense to me, at least. I'm not sure if it will for everybody, but considering. And William Blake Hall is letting me know that all hailing frequencies are loud and clear. Retro, the ISFSS is looking good. Thank you so much. I wouldn't be able to land without that. And Brogo is here. It says, good morning, everyone. So good to see you. So good to see you. Good. It's so great to see everyone this morning. I'm so glad everybody's having a great time. Unicorn Rampant Studio says, Mernon. Oh, so good. So good. All right, guys. Let's see. Now that we've got the morning greeting out of the way, I wanted to just mention one thing in case I don't remember. Later on tonight, I will be at El Necron's channel. We're going to be doing a special Pandora's box. And Pandora's box is typically something that we used to do with our friend Mikey Sutton, and we are going to try to continue it on in his honor. We are going to be doing it today with Kingdom of Nerds, which is going to be my first time actually speaking with him, and it's going to in live, so that's going to be wonderful. And we'll all be, talking about spooky things that are rather retro. So that's going to be so much fun. I can't wait to get into that and dive into those old memories. Speaking of memories, I'm going to warn you guys, lately I've been having, and I'll be very honest with with you guys. I've been having memory issues, like remembering names, and it sounds like it's like stuff that everybody else like pretty much has issues with remembering names. But it seems to be very, very severe and really affecting a lot of my ability to communicate. So I hope you do bear with me. Just wanted to be upfront and honest about that right away in case you notice some things that are going on in the content and I'm like stalling a lot. It's usually like just me not remembering things, and I'm trying to, continue to activate my memory and keep it going. So I'm doing everything I can to to keep my brain going and not lose my memories. But I'll just warn you ahead of time. That is a problem that I'm dealing with, and hope you won't be too won't be too upset that I can't remember everything. And Woodrow is here. Says episode 3 of Loki was my fave so far. I needed a cartoony show after watching Gen V boy spinoff show. Now I haven't even like approached the boys at all because for personal reasons, but I may be one day going taking a look at that. I've heard really great things about the boys, and yeah, that's on my like maybe future list of things to visit that's modern. And everybody's saying hi to Rogu. And let's see, Keith E says Thursday night the Perrymation show on will be the only color version. Oh, I'm not sure. Perrymation's show will be the only color inversion. I'm not sure what that will be, what that is, but Keith E says it will be on Me TV at 11:30 Eastern PM. Oh, okay, so that's for the Perry Mason show in color. Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, that'd be interesting to take a look at. And Brogu saying hi to everybody. And okay, so now I am gonna pull up the slideshow. Yeah, let's get it started because we want to get it going. All right, so first things first, Loki season 2, episode 3. I'm with you, Woodrow, on this. Definitely, it's my fave so far. Every episode is just getting better and better and better for me. I have to say this is the best content I've actually watched on Disney Plus. And just I'm like loving it. And oh gosh, maybe I don't know if I could say that totally because of course there's Mandalorian season 1 and 2. My goodness. Um, hmm. Let's go with for now. It is just at this point in time, this is really some good stuff. If you as a science fiction lover, I'm not a big fan, as you guys know, of using time travel in a lot of science fiction content because I think sometimes it's used to get out of trouble. It's like the get out of jail free card. And I'm like, just write around this, write your characters out of this situation without having to go back in time. It was cute and fun when we did it in, Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure, but it's just not something we should be using in highbrow science fiction, like, Star Trek, Star Wars, like, keep that out of it. But when we're talking about the way it's used in the Loki series, and starting off with the setup that was given in season 1 to season 2, it's really done beautifully. And it's just ramping up. It's just ramping up to something crazy. And I'm loving it. I'm loving it. I'm loving it. High scores so far for me. So the biggest situation, if I can explain it at all, is this temporal loom that has been created by He Who Remains. He Who Remains is a guy that was killed off in in season 1 by Sylvie, the Loki variant, and also our Loki that we know of, his variant. So this is sort of like the walkway that leads to the temporal loom, and I'm not sure what this walkway really is. It's a way of like manipulating the temporal loom. Now, we're gonna see this again. I'll talk about this again. We experienced this situation on this walkway in the first episode. So we've got the background. It was set up in the beginning. But the problem with this temporal loom is that we have a whole bunch of timelines that have been created, and this temporal loom allows it to fall through and collect where it doesn't create a whole bunch of damage. It doesn't destroy the TVA. It doesn't destroy what they're trying to do at the TVA. It doesn't destroy the sacred timeline. So it allows all these timelines to exist together harmoniously. And so at the head of like trying to figure out what's going on is OB, who we're just, I love him. I love this character so much because he's like very much like, we're gonna die. He's like, he's really, really like straight up. He'll tell you what's going on. But also there will be a stress on like, hey, he won't sugarcoat anything for you. So it is a very dire situation. Everybody's trying to figure out how to fix the loom, and it turns out they need an aura match. And this aura match was something that was set up in season 1, but you don't need to know that in order to continue. What they explained to you pretty much in this episode is that the only person with the aura match to be able to make the changes to fix the loom is he who remains, or his variant will have the same aura match as well. So that's something that's set up at the very beginning, but they don't know that they need that until later. The main thing is that the only other person who could do that besides he who remains or his variant is Miss Minutes. And so now they've got to find Miss Minutes. And hopefully everybody knows that Miss Minutes is that cute little cartoon that is in the shape of a clock. And Keith E mentions to us that there was only one in color version of Perry Mason made. Okay. Yeah, I did not know that. I've heard of Perry Mason and I've seen some of Perry Mason, but I don't quite know the show. I don't think I've actually seen episodes, so maybe that will be the one that I should see. So back to this, Miss Minutes has gone rogue, and so at the end of season 1, we're finally catching up to her storyline along with Ravonna Renslayer. They have gone to, and I have some notes that I'm going to refer to down here, 1868, Chicago, on the sacred timeline. So in the sacred timeline, there's a little boy, and he lives in the home that is right beyond that window right there in this scene. And Miss Minutes tells Ravonna that she must drop off a package through that window. And in that package is a manual from the TVA manual. And so here's the beauty of that of season 3. We got the setup for that manual from episode 1 and 2, and that OB is the one who created that manual. So we've got all that information. We know how important it is, but everybody ignores it. Not that many people read it. So here we have this book that is very scientific, very detailed, and it is being dropped in 1868 and given to a young boy, and that young boy grows up to be Victor Timely. And some people on the internet, I can't take credit for this. Victor Timely is another way of saying the victor of time. It's very, very, very brilliant. Like, oh, okay, interesting. I love these little plays on words and things like that. So that is very, and so it's setting up a couple of things. That Ouroboros is very important to this time, the TVA and how it's run. As well, there must be some something that is, we're not sure exactly if he's just writing out all the plans. Did he create everything? But he says he's the author of that book, and that he who remains is the one who's actually applying those theories and everything that's in the book and making it solid. So there are some uncovering secrets that we'll find out, or we need to find out during the rest of the series. I believe we have 3 more episodes, and these episodes have been jam-packed with information. So I've watched it already 3 times. Every single time I watch it, I'm like seeing a new bit of information about the characters, which is very important to me. If you don't nail those characters, I'm out. And the characters are all really good. And little bits of information about the technical side. I may not be able to explain a lot of it very well to you, but I'm telling you, like, it's easy to pick up. It's not really that hard. But again, if you just follow the actions of the characters, it's just what it's just much more exciting. So let me keep going here. Just like they just missed her, but here comes Loki and Morbius. Just Mobius. Just they just kind of hang out, and I'm sorry, they just sort of arrive at just when Renslayer and Miss Minutes leaves. Then they decide, okay, something else must be going on. You know, they don't understand what's just happened. And there's the window with the little Victor inside, where he's just gotten the book. They could have just stormed inside of that room and removed that book from him. But they didn't know that was happening. So this is very, very interesting. Like, things are happening right under their nose. They just don't see it. They can't see it. So they arrive at 1868, but then they realize that Renslayer is in 1893, and so and this is little Victor with the book, the TVA book, which by giving him that book creates a branched timeline. So now it's really kind of they've created a branched timeline. So the theories that are going around on the internet about Victor Timely is that he may have been a plant by He Who Remains, by putting like a baby Victor Timely into the sacred timeline and allowing him to follow another path during the timeline where, you know, maybe technology is not so advanced. He can't do the things that he will eventually, other Kangs are going to do. So he's a variant of Kang, but he is in a time period in which he's pretty much not able to do any of the things he imagines. So that was something that was also talked about in this episode, like that he has had these thoughts of technological things he'd love to do, but he can't do them because of the time period that he's in. They just don't have that technology available. And the TVA's handbook is really giving him more juice, more ideas to create more inventions and solve more problems, to do with like the TVA. So I wonder if some of the things that he's creating or ideas that he's coming up with will help the TVA become more efficient, better, and solve the problem of the time loom that's happening. Hey, Hungry Jerk is here. It says, had a nightmare once. Everything channel on TV was Perry Mason. Hate that show. Yikes. And Kitty says, mine would be if, Sex in the City was on 24 hours a day. Oh my goodness. Uh, yeah, not my show either. I think I enjoyed Sex in the City like earlier when it was going on, but not so much now. Definitely do not want to see it since in recent times. It just lost its magic, and without Samantha, I don't think you have a show. That's just my opinion. So they've come to 1893 branch timeline, which is very important for us to keep in mind. This is a branched, this is not part of the ultimate plan. So this is a timeline that has been created out of Renslayer dropping that book off changes history. And so we have Chicago during 1893 during the World Fair. It's really gorgeous how they recreate this and how they make it look so authentic. I really enjoyed the scene. It was, all the old timey things that they had going on here, old timey swipes, transitions, and also music. That was really cool to see. And there were some people who did not like the music. They thought it was too playful. And I did enjoy it. I thought it was good. I love when TV shows or any kind of project will divert for a moment to be playful, because we are dealing with serious concepts here. It can be very heady, and it's kind of nice to take a little break to do something silly. And the music felt very playful and silly, but at the same time, you are following. The characters aren't doing things that are out of order. They're just the music that they chose was the old timey style, and I enjoyed it. So we have this time period in which they're trying to find Renslayer, because they know Miss Minutes is with Renslayer. They're not necessarily looking for Victor Timely. They're not looking for anything at all, but they kind of bump into this by this ad here for Victor Timely's Astounding Temporal Marvels. And so they were like, hey, that sounds like something that we should take a look at. And sure enough, when they get there, Loki sees they're all both looking, and they see Victor Timely, and he recognizes this is one of the Kang variants. So this is alert. He's like, "That's the man," and it's really funny because Mobius is like, "That's him. That's the guy who's gonna destroy the universe." I thought that was so funny because he's just so like that's what everybody would say too. Like, that guy he just looks like a dude. But Victor Timely is doing this huge presentation with a lot of this old timey tech to show the loom, the time loom. I mean, this is like like an old timey version of the time loom, and I thought that was really creative that that they did this in sort of like, oh, this is a low tech version of this big idea that eventually will be the time loom at like sort of the baby stages. So there are theories out there that this Victor Timely is actually the first Kang, or possibly is the Kang that ends up being He Who Remains. This may be his origin story, but there are other people who are saying, no, this is not the same guy at all. And there is no, at least he's not the same guy yet, and not yet. So that's the problem with time, is that it hasn't, we haven't seen it yet. Right now, he's an innocent guy who's just got his hands on a book that wasn't supposed to be really part of his timeline. So that makes him a variant right there. So in the main sacred timeline, there is a Victor Timely in the main sacred timeline, but he is most likely, probably died by, the early 1900s. So that's pretty much, that would be the main sacred timeline. But of course, Renslayer is there. She's been kind of looking for Victor Timely to find out, um, or I don't think she knows it's Victor Timely that she's looking for. She's looking for someone who is, exerting some sort of odd thing, or something that lets her know that, hey, that she may be finding the He Who Remains, or a variant of him. And so she finds Victor Timely, and says, oh, that's him. Um, and Oh, the weekly wrap up is here. How are you? Hey, Retro. And guys, I have to tell you that the weekly wrap up is a great channel, and it does a lot of watch parties for a lot of the shows that are on Disney Plus. And I really enjoy whenever I like race home to try to catch his watch parties for Loki. And yeah, I had a great time watching it this week. So good to see you. It says, what's happening, girly? Yeah, just talking about Loki and loving it. Oh my God, I love this show so much. I've watched it at least 3 times, and it's just fab. I just love the characters, and I do enjoy the detail of, the science detail that's going on here. It's really, it's bubblegum for, science, for those who are kind of interested in that kind of stuff. But it still it still really makes me excited. And I love the storyline. It's really good. So of course, somehow Sylvie gets involved, and she is just really out of her mind, wanting to kill this Kang variant, and does not care at all, what's going on. She doesn't care that they need him for the TVA, she just wants to kill him. And so we have sort of a repeat of what happened at the end of season 1, where we have Loki stepping in to protect this Kang variant, and really telling her, like, come on, think about what you're doing. You don't understand what you're doing. And he's ready. I mean, this is a picture of season 1 at the very end, when he's trying to reach out to Sylvie and let her know, like, hey, look, you don't have to do this. And she's just so scarred from her life being pretty much stolen from her, and by the TVA, by the creation of He Who Remains, and really wants revenge. And whether killing him was not really enough, she was still broken when after she killed him. She has not been able to reconcile what happened to her in her life, and it's just heartbreaking, for that character. So she's on a path now, a war path, to kill any of these guys that she sees. And he's just one of them. Look at him, he's scared. He doesn't he's he's just a con man in his time. but he is not really a bad guy yet. At least we think so. He's willing to do a lot of things, but I don't think he's willing to do the worst yet. The weekly wrap says, "Oh, thanks. Yes, Loki's so good, right? They're doing a great job. Acting is top notch too. Yes. Oh, wow, fire. Yes, yes." And so the weekly wrap up says, "Yes, revenge is never the answer. She needs to learn another way to heal. Yeah, she has not healed. I mean, she's a mess. She's a mess. But I thought this episode showed something a little bit different in her, and we won't I think we need one more episode for her to finally turn around, and we got a glimpse of her turning around in the first episode when she is opening up the doors to say hi to Loki. She has a completely different energy, and so I think that happens a little bit later, and so we're getting to that point. I love this because this is setting a lot of stuff. I love the idea of setting things up and paying them off. Just like the book, it was set up and and now we're getting the payoff for that book, the TVA. It's very important to all of the happenings that are going on. Unicorn rabbits too. Yeah. This is au contraire, revenge and some joy and pleasure. Wow. Well, there's nothing like a little revenge in the morning. Oh man. Well, I'm glad we could joke about it. Yeah, revenge never worked out for me. I've never been able to. It has never done that for me. But uh, let's get it. Oh, here we go. Unicorn Rabbit Studio says you don't choose revenge because you want things to be better for everyone. You choose revenge because you want something to suffer as you have. Yeah, yeah. And I think that's what she's after. She's after revenge in a way of like suffering, but um, and before that, she was just always killing all the Minutemen, all of the hunters. And so, she was Sylvie's just she's just a mess. She hasn't reconciled anything within herself. So hot mess. And Trash Pondo Pons is here. My goodness, says, "Hey, cats and kittens, are you on your lunch break? Oh, so good to see you. Um, so good to see you." And just so that everybody knows, I know that he's joking, but he's oh, I'm definitely joking for sure. Meow. And Thresh just happened to be home. Oh, cool. And we're so happy to see you alive. I had to stop in and say hi. Happy Hallow month, everyone. Oh, thank you so much. So glad to see you. And yeah, guys, if you haven't, please do go to Thrash Panda Pons' channel. Has been doing a lot of jokes lately, which are hilarious. Go over there and check it out. Um, they're great dad jokes. I think they're fantastic. You're wonderful. Um, and oh, okay. So it was your birthday. William Blake Hall says, "Happy belated birthday." Yes, happy belated birthday from all of us. Um, yeah, and you guys are wonderful. All right. So, um, now, yeah, he's truly scared here. Like, this is he's just been approached. He's got his own things. He's a con man. Let's just put that out on the table. He is not, um, innocent of anything of everything, right? He's not a good upstanding citizen working for a living. He's a con man who has got incredible inventions, but it's just the wrong time for them. And he's trying to make do with what he can, even if it's a little bit sketchy. And he does have these bad guys who are following him because he swindled them out of money. And unfortunately, it's also part of the, the fun of the episode of them chasing him around and so on and so forth. Um, and it kind of keeps the pacing going in my opinion. I was thinking, okay, what if we got rid of those guys? How would this go? It would change the pacing quite a bit. Um, and so adding that element of this outside force of these guys chasing him around actually helps the pacing of this. And it's just strange, even though they're insignificant, and they would matter only to his life. It is really important in the story to keep that pacing going, and it's really from a story perspective, you're like, huh, interesting. We have a moment here where we have characters that don't matter to the story, but them being in the story actually helps the pacing. It's interesting. It's interesting. I'm learning so much about story by watching these really entertaining uh, projects here, and this is definitely one of them. And any chance to see Loki use his powers is always great, but he dispatches the bad guys quite easily, or these insignificant bad guys. Miss Minutes is here, and we finally get to see this image that has been kind of floating around the internet, and also the image that was floating around was in the trailer. So basically, what happens is that she grows to an enormous size, and also wears this kind of spooky, ghostly kind of uh, visual, and she just scares everyone out of the place in order to give the Renslayer and Victor Timely an opportunity to escape. And Unicorn Rampant Studio says, has the name Immortus popped up? Nope, it hasn't. Should it? Let me know. I know. Is that from the comic books? Let me know. I want to know. I want to know who's Immortus. Um, Forgive me, guys. I do have allergies today. Got a lot of stuff going on. So they get away, and there's a cute little scene of Victor Timely getting to know Renslayer and Miss Minutes. And it's quite interesting because he likes Renslayer a lot. He's like trying to impress her. He's doing all this stuff. And they're really trying really hard to, tell him like, hey, you are going to become this incredible person. The TVA is a real place. All the stuff you've been thinking about and you've been dreaming about, that's real. And it's just kind of one of those moments where he realizes, okay, there's something going on here. I need to go with these people because this could be my future. And it is, there's some like sparks going on, at least from his end. I think Renslayer is definitely playing him. She's playing into it, and she's being really sweet and kind, but she's also like, um, I she gives her hand away a little bit later, and there's a moment where he's like sharing his secrets with her, saying he's got the book, but not only I think I explained this to you guys before, he's also been drawing alongside the book, he's been drawing ideas for inventions that he thinks will help the book, I mean, help the TVA. And so this has been very inspirational for him and has been exciting him all these years to finally be in front of people who know what this is, who understands what this is. This is a really big opportunity for him. He's really loving it. And also, Ravona is showing interest in like, hey, like you're really smart. You're really this. He doesn't get that in his time period. People think he's crazy. They don't understand this stuff. This is weird stuff for him. Finally, he gets to meet someone who understands kind of what it is. And there's a moment in this scene where Ravona is listening to him, and you can tell she doesn't have a clue what he's talking about. It's like there's a look on her face, and I'm like, you don't know what the heck he's talking about, right? Because he's talking way over her head. She knows a lot about the TVA, but she doesn't know the science. She only knows how to run the people. She's a good administrator, but she's not scientifically endowed. And so this is what this is proving, that she is not the central brain behind this whole thing. She's great with brute force and that kind of thing, but not necessary. Let me see what you guys are saying. Got a lot of chatting going on. And Unicorn Rampant Studio says Immortus is the original king in the comic book. Okay, so yeah, Immortus is not mentioned yet. The only thing that we got was from season 1, the last episode. They did mention that there was an original king that was born in the 31st century, and that's not this king, right? This is a different king. This guy was born, we want to say, like in the 1840s. No, sorry, not 1840s. He would be like maybe 12 when they gave him the book. So he would probably be born like 1850 something or 40 something. So he wasn't around. He wasn't around then. So I don't think that this is definitely a specific. There must be a specific reason for this particular king to be. Excuse me, guys. In the century that he's in. So it is very odd, and some people have said that perhaps he lied. He who remains, possibly he lied about exactly when Kang, the origin of these Kangs. So I'm looking forward to finding more about Immortus, the original Kang, and all of that stuff that's going on there. It would be very great to find out more, because I did get a rundown about what happens in the comic book, but they're changing it so much here. So it's changed quite a bit. I don't know what they're going with. I don't know what they're going with. So it's going to be very interesting to see what they come up, what they decide is the original king. Thrash Bondapon says, if you all have an interest, I just did a post of the top 10 works that are the precursors of Romeo's Night of the Living Dead. Romero, sorry. Romero's Night of the Living Dead. Cool. Definitely gonna check that out. Great for your spooky needs. And Unicorn Rapid City says, was about a minute behind the stream. Sorry. Oh, no problem. I think you're right on time. And Botanical Brother is here. Hello, says he. There, RNG and guest RNG. Have you seen Yellow Submarine yet? Oh no, I haven't. I don't know how to get a hold of it, so I'm gonna write that down really quickly. I don't know. Is it on YouTube or something? I'm not sure how to if there's a way for me to see it, I'd love to see it. And Unicorn Rampant Studio says Yellow Submarine is pure insanity. Have to watch it at least once. Oh, I absolutely, I know that. And Unicorn Rampant Studio also says, yes, I assured it was totally different from the comic. I'm just curious if they had dangled the name. No, they didn't. They didn't dangle the name yet. Not to my knowledge. If anyone else is in the chat who knows if they mention Immortus yet, let me know. But they haven't. They have teased other characters in the in the MCU movies, but they haven't done so on the show, and which is great because we don't know anything about that yet. Not yet, which is great. But I can't wait for them to try to kind of attack that. Um, and Unicorn Rampant Studio says, RNG, do you mind making a list of your list so that we can observe? He sent you the DVDs as we find them. Oh, okay. You might miss your list. We can observe so we can send you the DVDs as we find them. Oh, okay. Sure. I will let you guys know. I should, right? I should try to. I don't know how to do that, but yeah, wait, I'll figure it out. I'll come up with something today. Thank you for letting me know. I did have that um, uh, um, Amazon Amazon list, which I was. Yeah, I'm not sure how to do it, but I'll figure something out. I'll figure something out really soon. And thank you for letting me know. Thank you so much. I appreciate you asking me about that. And Thrash Pondapon says, I love Yellow Submarine. I think I've still got a copy on VHS. Oh, cool. And Unicorn Rampant Studio says, Immortus is an Avengers crossover character, potentially also Miss Marvel, as he impregnated her at ooh sounds so technical. Impregnated her at one point and gave birth to himself. Ooh. And maybe this may be part of something like that. It's so weird that we have this Victor Timely in this timeline. Uh, that's the thing that's really kind of blowing my mind right now. Like, what is he doing here? He's supposed to be born in the 31st century, so I expected them to go into the far future. Instead, they went into the past. So that's wild to me. So there is romance budding in the air for Victor Timely. He really, really likes her. He's seeing she's taken an interest to his work, and she's giving out the vibes that she really likes him. And so he makes this little paper flower for her. Now, anybody from that time period, and even maybe today, if you made a paper flower for them, they'd probably like stop everything. You're like the most amazing person ever. We love you, right? Wow. But because it's Renslayer and she is from, has been exposed to the TVA, knows about all these interesting wonders, this is not very impressive for her. It's kind of impressive, but not impressive to the point where she's like, falling in love. Her response to receiving the flower is, this will be a good partnership. And boy, that is just not the right thing to say, because they set it up a little bit earlier with one of the disposable characters, and this is why I say it's disposable characters. Not a bad idea. They really help the story. He says, one of the guys say, we can be partners, and Timely says, I don't do partners. And that is a very interesting footnote, because that could cause a huge problem in the future. Anybody who says, hey, well, you're really smart, I'm really smart, let's become partners. Not the way he wants to do it. So again, this is where I'm kind of wondering if he is, if he really is, if this is an origin story for He Who Remains, or if this is just a random dude, right? Of some random guy. He Who Remains said, "See you soon." And the last thing he says to Sylvie is, "See you soon," meaning that he has possibly seen her before in the past, and it'll be her future, which is probably the scene that we saw in this show. So there's a lot of evidence that Victor Timely will possibly be He Who Remains, but it's left to this ambiguous kind of place. He doesn't do partners, so partnership with anybody will be a problem. He will not be able to be partners or run the TVA or help fix the TVA if there is even the suggestion of being partners. So this is very, very fascinating to me. I love this so very much. It's really good. The Unicorn Rampant Studio says that's all the comic Laura I have for you today. Oh, the comic lore I have for you today. I just couldn't hold back anymore. Oh, no problem, no problem. No, this is great because the more we know about the history of what it's supposed to be, it kind of gives us a little nugget of what maybe they're planning for the story. And I don't. And the thing is, I don't know. I don't know. And that's the fun part is I don't know. And there are breadcrumbs kind of leading to something. And these guys are very good about from the storytelling aspect, setting things up and paying them off. This is what I had a problem with Ahsoka with, was there was a lot of setup, but a lot of things weren't paid off, and that's what we're getting here. We're getting payoff, even from stuff from season 1. I mean, the things that wasn't completed in season 1, they're immediately dealing with it now. So yes, I appreciate everything that you said. Bogu says impregnated her at one point and gave birth to himself. I'm getting Terminator vibes. Yes, yes. And by the way, guys, there is a Terminator movie that's coming out, possibly. That is, I'm gonna have to probably cover it next time. But it is possibly, it is a Skynet movie, just like the one that we were talking about. But they're actually gonna do it. They may be able to do it where the time works. It might actually work. I like the idea that I heard. And Unicorn Rampant says blah. And Keith E gives us a smiley face. Oh, great. Okay, now, so like I was saying here, Ravonna, by saying that, he kind of backs away. We have the whole time, we've got Miss Minutes looking on. She is not liking the fact that she's got like a sad face when he's talking to Ravonna, but once he backs away, she gives a big smile because she is really, really a thorn in Miss Minute's side. She wants to only be the only woman in his life. So it's quite an interesting moment there. So the whole purpose for them still being in this timeline is because Victor Timely has this invention that he has made, and he wants to get the prototype for it before he goes to this to the TVA. So he knows he's going to the TVA. He wants the prototype before he goes. Let's see if there's any other notes I have here. And a lot of people have said it is very similar to the invention that was in Ant-Man and the Quantum realm, I believe. I'm not sure. Quantumania. And this is the King the Conqueror that was in that particular movie, which there are similarities because Kangs seem to have the same kind of creative vision in their minds of things. So at least they're trying to tie in that element of the Kang. Like there are some similarities between all the Kangs, and in which some are going to be bad guys, some of them are going to be ambivalent, so some of them are going to be um, good guys, but they're all thinking and dreaming of the same kind of variants of the same technology and the same kind of there's similarities always going on here, and I like that. I like that. Thrash Bonabun says the script will be written by AI. Well, that will be the ultimate slap in the face if the next Terminator movie is written by AI. And Brogu says, I think Retro Nerd Girl and Lance from the Outcast Creative should write the script for the new Terminator movie. Oh, that's so sweet. Yeah, Lance already has. His script is really great. I loved it. And Unicorn Rampant Studio says, do we have any updates on the original Kang actor? Oh, I think I'm not sure, but I think the lady who made the first claim of saying, hey, he abused me, she was arrested for abuse herself in that same case. So I'm not sure what's happening there. And I'm not sure how to look at that just yet. I'm not really feeling like I don't know how to process that. Right now he's doing a great job playing the role, and that's separate from his other stuff. I really hope he isn't abusing people. And it looks like the young lady was at a club that night. She was doing all sorts of things. She switched her story around a couple times. Some people said that could be the action of somebody who was abused, and I'm not sure. And I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. All I can say is that this, I'm just going to judge this as something that happened before that alleged issue happened, and so we'll do that for now. It's a tough place to be, but it looks like he must be doing very well and with his trial, because the MCU is just continuing on ahead without they're just going ahead. They're paving a way forward. There's also an option for them to totally change this whole Kang stuff and go with a different big baddie. And they haven't even touched Doctor Doom yet, and he's such a good character. They should really try to do something with that. He would be fantastic as a big baddie. But well, we haven't gotten to a Fantastic Four yet, and I think that would really help kick off the MCU if they just stopped all the Avengers stuff, shove that aside, and work on X-Men and Fantastic Four. That should be their focus. And all the dark stuff, like Blade and Man-Thing and Werewolf by Night, stuff like that. Ooh, they would be they do a great job at that. Just my opinion. And we get this really interesting moment with Miss Minutes. So I was telling you that she was getting jealous, right, during the scene with Ravonna, and um, supports Victor Timely when he says, when he pretty much kicks Ravonna to the curve, sends her boat into the river, and she's left to fend for herself. And Miss Minutes just decides, okay, this is the opportunity to turn on the weird. And she's like, I've been helping you for all of these years. And he's like, okay, sure. You've been helping that other guy, right? Not me. I've never seen you before in my life. But she's like, yeah, you know, why haven't you ever given me a body? I could be your girlfriend. And so, oh gosh, it's so weird. And especially the way they have it where her face is glitching and she gives him a wink. It's just really weird. And so he manages to figure out how to turn her off just in the nick of time before she is like, I love you. So funny. Wiggly Wrap says Miss Minutes is smitten. Yeah, she just loves him. And well, see, this is what I've been looking at it and trying to figure this out. She knows that this is not he who remains. And she's been hinting that he is not he who remains yet. She did say that. And so I'm like, is this on purpose or is this fake? Or is this, is this on purpose or is and fake, or is this real? Is this logical AI thinking that she can be a girlfriend to a human being? Does she not recognize that there is a difference between Victor Timely and he who remains? So this is where I'm kind of wondering if this is truly he who remains before, before he becomes he who remains. So that is really, she's acting as if he really is he who remains. So there may be a little something to that. There may be a little something to that. And Brogu says, I think Retro Nergo. Oh, okay, yeah, you mentioned that. Oh, sorry, I thought I skipped something. Where did I? Okay, yes. So it is really kind of a wonderful like little weaving of storyline here that I'm just really loving. I'm loving the way the stories so the memes are like exploded on Twitter. It's just wonderful. This one is so funny. Miss Minutes is becoming a character that people are just adoring so much, and they realize she is freaky. She's just like a strange, weird character, especially since she has revealed that she's in love with her creator. So there could be that. There's that element. But maybe there is a reason why this happened. Did he who remains tell Miss Minutes to do this? To push himself into into a specific way of thinking, like not to trust anybody, to be on his to be alert of everybody, and to really impose this idea of not wanting to work with anyone else. Because if you remember the first the earlier iteration of the TVA, there were many Kangs. There was a council of Kangs. And so it's kind of weird to see this. It's like, okay, there were a whole bunch of Kangs, and there was only one. It's like, huh, what's happening here? He's being pushed into this idea of don't trust anybody. Everybody's coming after you. You've got, um, Sylvie's coming after him. Later on in the episode, um, we got Miss Minutes coming after him. And then later on in the episode, we've got Ravonna Renslayer with one of his inventions, based on the stuff that he's figured out from the TVA handbook, um, which is a pruning device. And so this is, and she wields it like a weapon of mass destruction. She's wild with this thing. And the danger level that they set up in this scene actually really feels visceral. I loved it. I was like, "Ooh, this is great." She could prune him right then and there, and we'd have to start over with a brand new, variant. This is great. Um, so let's see. Weekly wrap up. Oh, has Miss Minutes AI just become self-aware? Ooh, ooh, ooh. Like all this time she's been taking notes, and she's been doing what He Who Remains has told her to do. But now she's like, wait a minute, what about me? What about me? She's like, why didn't you give me a body? It was just so weird. It's like, no, 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 we can't give you a body. We don't know what you're gonna do with that thing. She's just and Woodrow says she wanted him to promise her a body, but he isn't but he is very guarded, having had to keep the world's biggest secret for most of his life. Bad timing for Miss Minutes. Yeah. Bad timing, yes, is definitely the case. And also, the approach was too aggressive, too soon. He doesn't know what the heck she's talking about. He hasn't even invented her yet, if that's truly who He Who Remains. And if it's not true, if it's not him, then she is, she's pushing him away. So it's very interesting. Woodrow says she wanted, yes, and so the weekly wrap up says, "Good call, Wood." Yeah, yeah, she bad time. And Brogan says Miss Minutes will have an OnlyFans for too long. Yeah, no, she cannot be trusted with one. We just have to give her, you just have to say like no to Miss Minutes. And Brogus. Yes. And William Blake Cobbs is heading out to the appointment in a few minutes. Retro, did this rate go and is another 9? Yes, it's over a 9, definitely. Almost a 10 for me. I almost can't find anything wrong with this episode, but yikes. Just loving it. Let's see. Yeah, so there's a real moment. She's planning on, like, if she doesn't get her way, she will prune him and just recreate him if she wants to recreate a new timeline. She knows what to do at this point, and um, doesn't mind the consequences. But of course, Sylvie shows up with her knife, and she, gets in the middle of this and is wanting very desperately to kill this man again. And what stops her from doing it is him confessing or saying, "Hey, look, I am not the guy you think I am. I haven't done anything yet." I haven't, you don't know what's in my heart. And that really touches her. And I think it really speaks of her own experience with the TVA, that they took her when she was a child and did not know anything about her. She was just another number, she was just another variant, and she didn't even know what she did that was so wrong that caused them to steal her from her world. And that's, you know, that has a significant effect on her. So she decides to let him go. And maybe that was not the correct thing to do or the right thing to do, or but she saw a little bit of herself in him in that moment, and I thought that was really good. I was like, yes, character development. She's not one note. She's not one note, and she was starting to get to be one note for a moment, and I was like, oh, let's not do this again. She, it was really kind of refreshing that they said, okay, we've already shown you 2 times where she tried to kill him, or she's Loki is trying to stop her from killing him. Why don't we let this play out and change the character? And they did wonderful job. Big not only thumbs up, but bravo, standing ovation. She says, get him out of here. They're taking him to the TVA, and she says, leave Renslayer to me, which I think was a mistake. They should have grabbed Renslayer and taken her back to the TVA under custody. That would have been the proper thing to do. And they did not. And I think they should have, even once they got to this location, have gotten there with a few Minutemen at their side, or hunters on their side, just to give them a little backup. And it was kind of irresponsible for them to leave Renslayer there. That was my only criticism of the moment, because Renslayer has been very dangerous. She knows a lot about the TVA, and she needs to be in custody. So they say, oh, let's leave her to Sylvie. Let Sylvie take care of it. And I was like, okay, well, Sylvie was going to kill her, right? And I think that's what they thought she was going to happen. There's a moment where Renslayer is looking at Mobius, and Mobius is like, I can't help you. You sowed your own, you created this mess. And it was kind of very telling, that last moment between them, because their relationship as friends is over. They are no longer friends. And they've been trying, Mobius has been trying to heal this friendship between them. They've been friends for so long. They even shared that whole thing about one of my favorite quotes from the last season, and I can't remember for the life of me. It was for all time. somebody in the chat help me. My memory is doing that thing again. I love that little statement between them, and they kind of lost that friendship. And she's like, okay, I don't know what's gonna happen. And Sylvie sent her to the end of time to be with He Who Remains. And He Who Remains, they follow this up with him being completely decomposed, decomposing right there. And it's gruesome. I was like, wow, that happened pretty fast, but it's, it looks terrible, very spooky. And and it ends pretty much there. But she revives Miss Minutes, and Miss Minutes is pissed off. She's pissed off. So this drives Miss Minutes to say, I know a big secret about you, and it's gonna make you angry. and so she is manipulating Renslayer to do and act a certain way and press things, press certain buttons. And I can't help but wonder if this is still he who remains working from beyond the grave to recreate himself, to reinstate himself into the TVA, right? So that way he can run it again. Like it's like a loop of him always creating himself to make himself become the creator of all the things that himself. So this could be his birth, his recreation story. He keeps on recreating himself. The thing is, who put him in that timeline? He may have grabbed one of the variants of Kang in the 31st century as a baby and placed himself in the past. This is absolutely possible. So we're waiting to find out patiently how that when that will pay off at all, if it will at all. And so the next episode is really, what is this variant of Kang going to do in this new environment of the future that he's been maybe possibly dreaming of, probably is going to blow his mind, the TVA. It's going to be interesting to see his reaction to all of that. And to think that a version of himself created that, whether he believes he created it or a version of himself created it. I'm sure those things are kind of in his mind right now, because the way they ambiguously kind of put it in the story, he could be the origin. This could be the origin story for He Who Remains, or it could just be a variant of that character. So we don't quite know, and I think that's the a mystery box they need to answer as soon as possible. And Thrash Bondo Ponce has got a switch. Take care, everyone. Great to see you today. I hope you're doing well. And yes, everyone do check out his channel. And we're all gonna take a look at that video you suggested. And let's see. And see, this is another this is Kang. He can be all of these characters. This was a still from the movie Ant-Man and Ant-Man Quantumania. I always have a problem remembering the name of that movie. And Jason DaCosta says, "Don't go away, retro girl." I won't. I'm right here. And William Blake also says, "I will catch up on the playback. Catch everyone on Friday. Take care, Dash." Oh, so good to see you. And yes, thank you for hanging in there, William Blake. I'll see you on Friday. Can't wait. Let's see. And Jason says, "Okay." Yeah, I'm right here. And so yeah, this is these are many versions of Kang. He can be so many different versions, and I can't wait to find out if this at all plays into what they're doing at the TVA. At this present time, it doesn't, right? So that's the beauty of this show to me, is that this can exist in its own separate world and universe and having very little to do with what's going on outside of the TVA. So this is a story contained within the TVA about the Loki variant that is in this situation right now, and I do love it for that purpose. We don't have to know everything that's happening in the entire MCU. The only movie that kind of has an inkling of a difference is like I mentioned before, Ant-Man Quantumania has like links to it, but it's not associated with it. You don't have to watch that movie to understand this storyline at all, at all. And you don't need to have watched the comic books or seen the comic books, sorry, read the comic books. You don't need to have done any of that. You don't need to have read or have seen any of the previous MCU movies at all. This is all different. It's interesting how it'll link up to each other but there really isn't much. Everything you need to know about these characters are in this these 2 seasons. And so that's one thing I'm enjoying about this, is that it is connected but not connected. And I think that's the reason why they may have chosen Kang, because you can tell several stories without even introducing any of the origin story of He Who Remains, or any of the other, let's say, Mortis, the one that a Unicorn Rampant Studio mentioned. You don't have to mention any of those guys. They can have their own story, because each timeline, as we see here, is its own thing. It doesn't have to involve other people. You can have 4 timelines that involve that coexist in a universe, and be none the wiser of any of the others, or none the wiser of the sacred timeline. You can have different storylines in their own separate worlds, or universes. So that's something I think I like, and you could tell thousands of stories if you wanted to about Kang, and I think that's the reason why they probably chose him as a subject. I really hope that things do work out for the show, and they can continue to do stories in the future, and they have, like I said, and have nothing to do with the MCU and that stuff. And so this is a kind of a clip, or I'm sorry, not a clip, a still from the would you say the trailer or teaser. And so this is something that will happen. There we see Victor Timely, and we see this sort of miniature of the runway to the time loom. And so I don't know if they are planning to put him in the suit and send him out there, based on the fact that they needed his aura for certain things they need to do. However, and there we see Loki talking through a speaker. Maybe he's talking to Victor Timely. This is all stuff that we're thinking. The I won't say probably the entire internet is probably theorizing is going to happen. And being that the only other person who really cares about this book, the TVA manual, is Casey, this character by the name of Casey, who was pretty much insignificant in last season, has now become a very important character, because he does carry with him the knowledge of this book most people ignore. So this is great. And here's a clip. I'm sorry, I keep wanting to call it clip. A still of a teaser, and it looks like Loki is going out on that runway, and I think that runway really has a very important part to play in this storyline, because it was set up in the first episode what that runway was, and we'll get more of it later on. And so he's not going out there without a suit and everything, because he's a god, right? He can do that. So that's pretty cool. I can't wait to see what they do here. And the other thing that I thought was really interesting was that OB has a new fan in Victor Timely. So I can't wait for them to meet and for them to have a conversation. And I can't wait for him to see Victor Timely's designs. It will be very interesting. Victor Timely said that the book and his scribblings on it really felt like a conversation between the two of them across time. And I thought that was really lovely. I was like, wow, this is going to be awesome. But here's the kicker, is that he probably will not want, they'll probably be like, oh yeah, let's be partners. And they were like, no, he doesn't want to be partners. Now, here's the thing. Of all the people, now everybody's said this whole concept of he who remains and this whole time loop going over and over and over again is very special because it is in itself an Ouroboros, of things happening over the end and the beginning, continuously going in a time loop. And so he's we're still not aware of who this Ouroboros is and what he's doing here, because he is, of all the characters in the TVA, has not had his mind wiped at least once, right? We're not sure if he has had his mind wiped since the beginning. There must be something else going on. We don't know his origin story, but we do know that he didn't get his mind wiped during that big time wipe where he who remains decided to change the entire TVA from what it was to what it is today. So there's at least that, and that seemed to have happened within the last 400 years. So everything works so differently in the TVA, and I love that. And people are speculating that he may be this character from the comic books, and I'm not sure what I forgot his name that his name is in the comic books, but that he may be another version of Kang in some way, which would be completely fascinating. And so it's really kind of cool to me how they're making him very important. He's subtly important in the background of all of this. Um, Ouroboros is a character I want to know more about, and of course, this romance and interesting dynamic between Renslayer and Kang is something that seems to keep on happening throughout time in the comics. I wonder how they're going to make that something that interplays in the show, because this episode she was ready to kill him, and he's like afraid of her, or at least is harboring some kind of animosity towards her because she tried to kill him. So I can see why he wouldn't want her to rule over things with him or be his partner, because she's like completely unhinged, and with good reason. We still have the question of the relationship between these two. Why are they doing this? Why? Right? That's X5 and General Docs. And I just really want to know what is going on with these two? Why are they embraced like this? And do they have a plan? Was this a plan of theirs? Did they receive instructions from He Who Remains, and are they acting on that? Because I'm just always wondering, is He Who Remains manipulating all of this beyond the grave? It's very interesting to me. And as I mentioned before, at some point, Sylvie is going to have a character change, where she's a little bit more um, working with Loki in some form or fashion. And of course, Miss Minutes, she's she may be the one who's manipulating everyone. We don't know. She's really proven to be the wild card this season, that you just didn't know was possible. Last season, I think we all had our suspicions. She was very sneaky, had a very sneaky way about her. Um, there was something going on with her, and we couldn't put our finger on it, but she's really shown herself, revealed who she really is in this particular episode, and it is delightful. I love everything to do with Miss Minutes. More. Let me just talk about the characters the actors a little bit. Tom Hiddleston is doing an amazing job playing Loki. Wonderful job. Sophia DiMartino doing playing Sylvie is also incredible. She's playing her with so much vulnerability, and it really takes a great deal of acting chops to do the work that she's doing with this character. If you get a chance to watch the show and see how she is just portraying all of the mixed feelings that she's having, all of the resentment she's having, all of the pain that she's experiencing through her facial expressions and the way she's using her language. It's just wonderful. I'm loving it. I'm really loving it. We have Jonathan Majors doing He Who Remains, and also Victor Timely. Very, I would say it's a great performance. Some people had some issues with the way he, I guess his cadence, and he is playing somebody who stutters. When he's on stage and doing the big presentation, there's a lot of pauses for dramatic responses, and I do like that. It's really over the top, a little bit big, but I believe that's how Kang is as a character. Even though the characters change here and there is something big about his presence, and I think that's the way he shows it when he's on stage and being a performer. But also, he in his regular talking, when he's talking to people regularly, there is a stutter. There are lots of dramatic pauses, and as somebody myself who sometimes has moments of stuttering, it's not that bad. I think I'm a lot better than many other people, but if you have that, you know that there can be a lot of those moments where there are dramatic pauses and strange languages that I think he's handling it very well. As an actor too, you have to there has to be some influence. So he may be having an actual person he's getting a lot of his inspiration from. Owen Wilson, of course, is fantastic, and just loving him in this. He's doing the Owen Wilson thing, but he's solid all the way through. And Tara Strong as Ms. Minutes, just really, oh my God, she's doing such a great job, giving us warmth to say, hey, I'm actually pretty cool. But then when she goes weird, it's just perfectly done. I mean, she gives you there's so many emotions that you go through while engaging with her performance. Just wonderful. Everyone, like, I think those are the highlights for this episode. Ravonna, played by Gugu Mbatha Raw, she is really doing a great job. I think since she's really becoming more popular, there's been a lot of, I don't know if you guys have seen it, but on my YouTube, it keeps on suggesting that I see a movie called Belle, in which she's in her much younger days, and she is she's really good. I think she's really showing how tough she is as a character. How tough Ravonna is, how you know uh, manipulative at times she is. Is very manipulative, and just the complexity of the character. Love that. This is what I really like out of the series, the way they're treating the characters. It's just wonderful. And they're giving characters that could be ignored and considered supporting characters. They're giving them a good meaty chance to be to stand out and to be cherished. And so far, great scores. I had a few issues, very minor ones, and wouldn't be my choices for some of the characters, but 9.8, that's pretty darn good. I really wish I could have given it a 10. I really had a lot of fun with this, and any opportunity to see this over again, I will take. So that concludes my Loki review. Now on to other things that we have. We will be looking at box office now, guys. Box office, what is going on? Oh, Brogu. So long, everyone. Enjoy the rest of your week and also the coming weekend. Take care. Oh, thank you. Wish you could have stayed through the whole thing. Good. You have a good weekend, Brogu. You have a wonderful one. There's still a lot more show left. Let's see. Box office. Let's see. I'm gonna blow this up for myself so I can see it better. So the first one, of course, is the movie that's really been making a big splash. And Taylor Swift, the Eras Tour. People are just going by the droves to see this. This is incredible work here. To that they figured out a way to keep the businesses, the theater business going. And I for one am really happy that there's an outlet like this. And why didn't they think of this sooner? Also, it is kind of a interesting thing that none of the studios picked this up, and they're out of money right now. I mean, it actually had to be distributed through the theaters. So this is quite interesting. I hope they continue to do things like that. Maybe they should really think about making other deals with filmmakers and see if that will work too directly instead of working through studios. And we've got number 2, Killers of the Flower Moon. Been hearing really great things about that movie. I've also been hearing some criticisms about that movie as well. So, but more good things. It's up. It's probably going to be up for lots and lots of uh, critical acclaim, Oscars. Emmy. Just all sorts of different Golden Globes probably. So it'll probably rake up in the award ceremony. We've got number 3, Exorcist Believer. Haven't really heard anything about this movie, to be honest. No one's told me. Has anyone heard or has seen Exorcist Believer? Let me know what you think of in the comments. Oh wow, sorry about that. We've got Paw Patrol Mighty Movie, which is doing quite well, and I'm glad it is. At least there's something out there for the kiddies. The Nightmare Before Christmas was re-released and is at number 4. Number 6, Saw 10, which is doing quite well, and we've got The Creator, which is not doing as well as it expected to do, but it is still in the top 10. Haunting in Venice is one. I haven't heard any news about whether this is good or not, and if anyone has heard, please do let me know what you think of that movie. That comes in at number 8, and number 9 is The Nun 2. Re-released. Hocus Pocus is at the 10 spot, so it's still at the 10 spot. The Equalizer, I didn't expect The Equalizer to hang in there for as long as it has, but it has just gotten out of the top 10 after being out for 8 weeks. So I think it's doing quite much better than I thought it was going to do. Dick's the Musical. Never, haven't heard anything about this, but if anyone's heard of that, please do let me know. And Dumb Money is another one that's just under the top 10, and Barbie's still hanging in there, which is pretty cool. Love ourselves some Barbie. And let's see. And Winter Soldier is here. Hello. Says Exorcist was terrible. It'll be on Peacock in the next few months. Okay. Yeah, I didn't hear anything at all about it, which is usually a bad sign when you don't hear anything about a movie. So I keep seeing pictures of it, but maybe I don't know. There's something not quite right about some of the visuals I'm seeing. I'm not, yeah, I'm not really still, um, yeah, I don't know. I thought the first Exorcist was great, so let's leave it at that as a classic and wonderful. Um, and not that it shouldn't be approached again, but I wouldn't mind a different story. And let's see. The headlines, guys. We're up to headlines. This is with a heavy heart that we lost yet another great Richard Roundtree, famous for playing the lead role in Shaft, is dead after a battle with cancer. The actor died Monday as a result of pancreatic cancer, according to his manager, Patrick McMinn. We are told Richard was diagnosed 2 months ago. Wow. And his family was with him when he died at his home in Los Angeles. Richard is best known for playing Detective John Shaft in the original Shaft movie franchise, including 1971 OG film Shaft, the 1972 sequel Shaft's Shaft's Big Score, and the 1973 trilogy Shaft in Africa. And this was from TMZ. Very, very sad to hear that. Um, and we also lost Burt Young. Burt Young died at the age of 83 on October 23, 2023. He was an American actor, author, and painter. He played Rocky Balboa's brother-in-law and best friend Paulie Pinino in the Rocky film series. His performance in the first installment earned him a nomination for the Academy Award for Best Supporting Actor. Young also appeared in such films as Chinatown 1974, wow, The Gambler 1974, The Killer Elite 1975, Convoy 1978, Uncle Joe Shannon 1978, Once Upon a Time in America 1984, The Pope of Greenwich Village 1984, A Summer to Remember 1985, Back to School 1986. Oh, I love that movie. Last Exit to Brooklyn 1990. Wow. Mickey Blue Eyes 1999. Transamerica 2005. Win-Win 2001. And Bottom of the Ninth 2019. Very sad to see these two gentlemen have passed on, and rest in peace. Let's see what if I'm missing anything in the chat. I am not. All right, and what's coming out, guys? Allergies are going nuts. Okay, give me a moment. I do need to deal with my allergy situation. Oh, gosh. What a battle. All right, so what's coming out? All right. This is coming out. I can't wait. This is really exciting me. There's so many actually really interesting things. Scott Pilgrim Takes Off is a new series that's coming out. It's an upcoming animated streaming television series developed by Brian Lee O'Malley and Ben David Grabinski for Netflix. The series is based on Scott Pilgrim's graphic novels written and drawn by O'Malley, with a cast of 2010 film adaptation reprising their roles. Like, everybody has come out for this The series is scheduled for release on November 17th, 2023. So I'm gonna try to watch this, try to cover this if I can, and let you know if this is any good. It looks so cute. I love the drawing style. It's adorable, and yeah, just excited for this. Finally, something. Also, seems to be a big boom of animated movies and TV series that are coming out lately, and uh, it's just like it's wonderful. I can't believe it. I'm like, yes, and they're all grown up. They're a lot of them are very mature, so they're not made for kids. So I'm just really excited about that. Pain Hustlers. This one is really interesting because already it's gotten some interesting reviews. Some people are like, "Oh, it's lame," and some people are like, "Oh, it's okay." I'm interested to see it for myself because Emily Blunt is usually in a lot of good things. I can't. I'm trying to figure out why this wouldn't be good. So I need to see this for myself to see why this wouldn't be something that would be absolutely adored by fans. So, um, Pain Hustlers is a 2023 American crime drama film directed by David Yates from a screenplay by Wells Tower based on the 2022 book of the same name by Evan Hughes. The film stars Emily Blunt, Chris Evans, Andy Garcia, who's amazing, and would love to see him in more things. Catherine O'Hara, Jay Duplass, Brian Darcy James, and Chloe Coleman. So it looks like they have a couple of comedy actors in this too. So that looks like it might be an interesting mix. Its plot centers on a high school dropout who lands a job with a failing pharmaceutical company in Central Florida, where she soon finds herself at the center of a criminal conspiracy. Pain Hustlers will start streaming on Netflix on October 27th, 2023. So that's not too far away, a couple days away. So that'll be interesting to see. Let me know if you guys know anything about this or have seen any of this. I just thought it was very interesting. Mission Impossible 8. Paramount has announced that the next Mission Impossible film has been delayed from June 28th from June 28th, 2024 to May 23rd, 2025 due to the ongoing SAG-AFTRA strike. The film may also undergo a name change. I said film change, but I meant a name change. And this was from Entertainment Weekly. And yeah, it is really, I think it's a good idea. And some people are saying that it's a bad idea because all the, it's going to lose momentum. And I think it had bad momentum. If you it had momentum, but I think it had bad momentum. I didn't think it had really good momentum at this point in time because I think I'm not sure what happened to the last movie. I think most people would say it was a decent movie. It just wasn't amazing. And so this movie, this will give them a chance to change anything if they need to, enhance some things. And of course, with SAG-AFTRA strike, they won't be able to promote this thing at all. So why not give it a chance? It was gonna be released in June, so would hope that the strike would be done by then. But having it May 23rd in 2025 may be a good thing, and it's also it will be the start of summer, so that might be like one of the first movies to kind of start off the summer blockbuster. And so let's cross our fingers for Mission Impossible 8. I think that will be the last Mission Impossible, if I'm not mistaken. And if it's not, it should it should be. I mean, unless they have more to tell, and or unless they have a branch, um, they branch out and have someone else kind of start it out. It needs a refresh, is what I'm saying. It needs to be refreshed, and not necessarily a reboot, but just a refresh. And there's oh guys, stop everything. There's a new series that I love. It's so good. Oh my god, stop everything. Stop everything. What are we doing? Stop it right now. New series that I love. It's called Scavenger's Reign. I heard about it because I think it was Sunday night. Um I think it was Sunday. I was um doing some stuff, making some thumbnails and doing, my usual Sunday things. And I bumped into a live stream with Robert Meyer Burnett, and he was talking about physical media. And of course, you guys know that I'm trying to build up my physical media library. And he said there's a new series coming that came out, Scavenger's Reign. I was like, what? He had higher remarks for it, and I was like, okay, I'm down. I'm down to watch something new and interesting. Um, guys, this this show is a trip. I'm not even sure. It could be considered. It's compelling. It's interesting. The tension is very high. Sometimes nightmare fuel, sometimes really, really, like, odd, strange things are going on. It's I don't know. I was engaged so deeply for the first 3 episodes that were released, and so good. Um, and so let's talk about it. Scavenger's Reign, a surreal sci-fi animated series from creators Joe Burnett and Charles Hootner. The remaining crew of a damaged interstellar freighter ship finds themselves stranded on a beautiful yet unforgiving alien planet where they must survive for long enough to escape or be rescued. And it starts out pretty much like the main base, far off into who knows where, is looking for these survivors, and they're like, we hope that there's no survivors because nobody's going to go out there and save them. So that pretty much sets up the first episode. Is like, dang. So they're out there on their own as the survivors struggle to locate their downed ship and missing crewmates. Their home reveals a hostile world allowed to thrive without human interference. And yes, this planet that they're on. Let me see if I have my notes here. I've got a lot of notes for a lot of different things, but yeah, the name of this planet is Planet Vesta. Okay, and it is a like sick location. Everything in this planet there's no humans on this planet or humanoid kind of creatures, no technology, no cities, that at least not yet. We haven't seen any. So this world is so unique and different, and like the opposite of human culture, organics even. So it is specifically like everything can be a danger to humanity, or it could help. You don't know until you find out. And some of these scavengers or survivors have figured out, like, hey, we could survive on this or not. And then some things they're still trying to figure out if it's dangerous or not. And it's incredibly frightening and harrowing, but at the same time, it's very compelling, Very interesting, highbrow stuff. Loved it. It reminds me of the Fantastic Planet, all of the unique creatures that was on that planet doing unique things. And yeah, definitely see that there are some organics on this planet that work like technology, things that light up if you do certain things that blow up when you do certain things. So the humans that have been able to escape this freighter that is in space, right? It's in space. It got into some trouble, and so it ejected, I believe, one, two, three, four, five pods, four pods, possibly four pods. Wait, one, two, three, four pods, I think. Four pods. And it is really interesting. These pods, they didn't all land in the same spot. They landed scattered throughout the terrain, and so they haven't really found each other. So each one of these people in the pods, some of them, like, there's actually two of them that found each other, and they're right next to each other, but everybody else, they're kind of scattered, and it's like they're on their own little journey. And so we just continue to read this. It follows a crew of damaged deep space freighter who are stranded on a beautiful but dangerous planet. Released October 19th. It released on the 19th. I didn't even know that this thing was coming out. I had no clue. There was no promotion for it, no marketing for it at all. And most of the people that are voicing you're doing the voice work are unknown. So this is very fresh stuff. This is fresh stuff. Altogether, there's 12 episodes. The first 3 were just so crazy. I don't know what I have to take some. I have to like take some deep breaths before diving into the other 2. They're very, very. It's already just spiraled into the crazy, and they're about 24 to 27 minutes, and it's on Max, formerly known as HBO Max. Very, very interesting stuff. So we have Azzy and Levi. Levi is a robot that is slowly being taken over by some organic creatures, and they've been helping the robot, but also the robot is starting to do interesting things, like creating things and becoming more sentient in acting. And so this is scaring Ozzy just a little bit. She doesn't know what to do. It's kind of a weird thing. We have Sam and Ursula working together. They've found each other and are doing what they can to try to survive on the planet. They figured out successfully how to bring the freighter down to planet Earth. That may have been a big mistake because they're now trying to get to that freighter, but they can't get to it. And the freighter's name is the Demeter, which is, of course, the name of the ship that Dracula was, if I'm not mistaken, I believe it was the Demeter that the Dracula came in on in the book Dracula. Okay, then we have Cayman, who is probably got the most exciting and interesting storyline in the entire series. Ooh, so Cayman is by himself, and he meets this weird creature that looks a lot like Lilo. Remember the movie Lilo and Stitch? The creature looks like Stitch, really cute, but completely has this way of psychologically controlling other animals and other organics. And so this creature gets a hold of Cayman, and there's like a whole trip to go along with that. It's really crazy. But all along, there's this visual kind of hallucination of the life that he used to have. And with his life that he used to have, he's always a little bit of a nasty, I would call him. Not necessarily a bad person, but he was always very curt and mean-spirited a little bit. So him being in this wild situation, this crazy situation, is changing him, along with the hallucinations, and also the human element is changing that creature as well. So the creature needs other creatures to find food for them. I don't know why. They're really resourceful, but they do that. And so that's Cayman is recruited by that creature to get food for him, and instead of just getting regular food, which is like fruits, he starts killing animals and starts killing other creatures um, like the like Stitch, we're calling, and it's like, wow, he's turning that poor creature into a cannibal, and it's changing them. So yeah, it's really well. I like the drawing style. It's really interesting because it's not like realistic, but it looks very anime style, and they really play a lot with visual, like weird oddities and strangeness. Um, they use organic creatures to do normal things with, as in this picture here. Um, the girl is using this organic creature to help her breathe in this environment that's quite toxic. Um, there's all sorts of wonders and interesting things that are going on here. Just I do like the style. Oh, this is the creature that is hypnotizing Cayman, and the stuff that it's doing is really wild. It's just insane. Um, and this is Cayman, who has pretty much lost it and is using this rock to kill all the animals in the area. That's the human element um, that is changing the world, changing this creature. And who knows what else he could do. He could probably kill other humans if he sees them, and he's under this hypnosis. And here's a picture of the Demeter. It's been damaged, and there it detaches and goes to the planet. So yeah, that's pretty cool. That's the show that I really enjoy. Let's see if you have anything that you wanted to say. Oh no, you guys are so quiet. Thank you for listening to me all this time. And just wanted to let you guys know that there is some new stuff for members. Of some movies that I watched, and I talk about Interstellar was last week, and this week I talk about the Day of the Triffids that I saw recently. So this is really great. I'm starting to knock off some of those things that you guys have been wanting me to see, and more are on the way. More little first reactions to a lot of these movies, and just like a little bit of information that I can piece together. Not it's not like my normal videos that are researched to the end of time and super analyzed. This is just quick reactions that I have. And Outcast Creative is here. Yay, Retro. Oh, so good to see you. says, popping in to say hi before you finish. I have my live interview in 50 minutes. Oh, wow. Good luck with that. Hope you have fun. And says, oh, Day of the Triffids. It's great. Isn't it great? It's like, I loved it. And I know that there's a remake, and I want to see that one too, see what that one's all about. There are 2 remakes, right? One done by the BBC and one done a little bit after. So I want to see all of those as well, to see the different takes on the idea. And if anyone knows, Day of the Triffids has a lot to do with the Night of the Comet. Very, very interesting storyline comparisons, in which I do in that members video that I put together for you. And Outcast Creative confirms, yes, 2 remakes. Great movie. And what's next on the channel? So we've got Friday Feel Good Movies with Lance from the Outcast Creative. There you are. And oh, I forgot to put the extra S on Outcast. There's a foreword by William Blake Hall. I believe he said yes. I have to double check to see if he has okayed. He sent me a wonderful email, and I wanted to kind of read that to you guys to, sum up sort of the feelings surrounding feel good movies, and the topic, and then trying to come up with feel good movies, a nice list. And then Saturday we have a watch party for Dracula 1931, that wonderful classic. Let me just double check and make sure that is true. Saturday, Dracula, Bela Lugosi, yes. And for next week, we just do look out for the Member Monday post that I'll have, and actually have it almost ready to go. And Nightmare Before Christmas watch party next Saturday. Not this Saturday, but next Saturday. It's going to be awesome. Give me a moment, guys. Allergies are attacking right now. They couldn't even wait. And let's see. And I think that's gonna be it. Yes, it's been. That's it, guys. Let's see. Remove. Ah, guys, that was such a great show. I'm glad to be able to talk about my love of Loki. I feel so isolated that there's not like a whole bunch of people talking about Loki. And of course, the reason why is because I think a lot of people have been burnt out on MCU content. They've been burnt by Disney content that has been failing lately, and they're just not willing um, to watch this. And it's already into season 2, and some people feel like if they didn't see season 1, then season 2, it's a tough one. It's a tough one, I know. But hopefully I'm glad to be able to get it out. So thank you for indulging me in the conversation today. I really appreciate to be able to let out some of these ideas, like, phew, there it is. I threw it out there, threw out my concepts, my theories, and my ideas. And I'm always very excited to talk about a lot of the shows that I see. And I hope you guys will give Scavenger's Reign a chance. Whew, that's a whole nother ball game. I have not seen anything like that on screen ever. Again, highbrow concepts. As I was talking about sci-fi, definitely. At some points too, it even plays like a silent movie, like very limited dialogue. And when the dialogue is there, it's like, ooh, just love this show, and hope I'm going to be able to keep up with it. There's some other ones that are showing up too, that are quite compelling, and I do want to see those as well. Trying to get myself more and more acclimated to what's happening so I can give great comparisons and things like that, and keep activating this brain so I don't forget too much. Well, guys, I do believe that we have come to the end of the show, and um, I had a wonderful time. I hope to see you in the next video. And without further ado, I bid you adieu, and take care of yourselves.
Retro Nerd Girl, you are clear for takeoff.